Hello and welcome back to part 3 of WHITELEGG Junction. On this one I shall be laying track and I'll show you how I lay it. But first of all, let me apologise for this one being so long. As I said in one of the other videos, I am a truck driver and this time of year, Christmas time, we do get busy and I'm away from home for a lot of the time. The other one is my old camera decided to pack up on me. It was an old camera, but lucky enough Santa's bought me a new one, so I can carry on. On this one I should be showing you how I lay track. My preferred preference is to glue it, and but if you ask another modeler, they'll pin it. They say it's best to pin it. It just goes down to personal preference at the end of the day. The reason why I tend to glue it is that if you pin it and you've got cork on, you can have what they call noise transfer, which will go through the pins and through to the board. Then you get a nice rumble. If you want the rumble, there's no problem pinning it, but I want to be a bit quieter than normal, and so I tend to glue mine. The other down part is if you pin your track down and you've gone too hard on some of the pins and you pour it in too deep, you'll get like a wavy thing going as the train goes down the track with the pins in. If you glue it, I put some put the glue down and then I put a bit of a weight on and it holds the track and it won't move, and it tends to be a bit more straighter because there's no pins pinning it down onto the track. That's my theory anyway, but if you ask somebody else, they'll say to pin it. Now I've got 3 types of track on the layout. On the front it'll be fine scale 55, it is Ngauge. And the reason why that is, it looks a bit better and public will see that side. But the storage side and the end boards where the track goes back onto the front, there'll be a mixture of universal code 80 and set track for the curves. The reason why I use set track is because I've got tight curves on the end. I need them to be perfect, and you can buy these bits of kit. I don't know whether you can see that. It's a track setter, and you get them in different sizes and all the rest of it. This one's a 12-inch radius, so it'll go around it'll do an half circle of 24 inches, which is nice, but there's a risk of it being kinked for the tightness I want at the end. And the way they work is you basically, I don't know whether you can see it, I'm trying to do this backwards. They clip in like that, and that gives you a curve, and then you go around making your corners. But I decided to use set track because it gives me that tight curve. Anyway, right, I shall introduce some of the parts I've done. I've already done some parts, as I say, laid the track in readiness, and I shall introduce you to some of the kit I've got. Some that you'll need straight away, like obviously your track, track joiners, both insulation and metal joiners, form of fixing it to the board, whether you're using pins or glue in it, and that type of thing. Alright, and I'll introduce you to the bits and pieces I've already collected. Hello, here we are. Some of the kit that you'll need. So these are some of the set tracks I've got, different radius curves for different things. That's obviously a straight one for when you do the straight track. A selection of knives, both the retractable blade type of thing, i.e. Stanley or whatever it is you use. Knives and blades, spare blades. Me glue. This one is for laying my track, and this one is for laying the metal strips that I'll show you for the track on joins. Obviously there's a track. Sometimes it's just cheap to buy a box of track. You get 25 lengths in this size, and it works out a bit cheaper. Track cutting pliers, ideal for cutting track. They're about 15 quid, but they'll go through the track a lot better than normal pliers. Another handy gadget is a fibre pen. It is a fiberglass thing, so be careful when you use it, because when you get one of them splinters in your hand, it's not like a wood splinter, you cannot see it, but you'll always feel it, and eventually it does work loose. It's not going to cause permanent damage, but it's irritating type of a problem. Spare nylon brushes for it. The other bits that you'll need are obviously your you can't see it on that one, is the nylon rail joiners, and then you got the metal rail joiners. You'll get through a lot of these if you're building a big layout. Obviously these are not too important at the minute, but you'll use these on the front when you do the scenery, the sleepers that go on when you do the points and everything else. Steel ruler, this one is in Ngauge size, it's 2mm to the foot, if you can see that, and that gives you an exact scale instead of roughly guessing. I know you've only got, I think, 2mm to the foot in Ngauge, 4mm to the foot on 00, but this saves you all the workings out. Alright, then copper clad. Now if you're fixing the layout for home use, you don't have to use it, because what you'll do, you run your track straight across the joins and there's no problem. But if you're doing an exhibition layout, or you're planning to take your track apart, put some copper clad down. And this was a sheet I got from Maplins, and then I've trimmed it down and I put it across the join like this. And basically what will happen is, let me get a bit of old track, you'll put the track across like that, you'll cut these sleepers out, place the track over, and then solder it to the copper clad. And then once you're happy with that, you cut the track, which I'll show you anyway later on, and you cut the track straight through, and that will give you a perfect joint every time. Now you can get either the sheet like that, or buy strips like this. I've got a pack of strips somewhere, which I'll show you. You buy them, you tend to buy these at railway shows. Now, I've got a pack of about 10 in there, and they'll hopefully do for the rest of the layout. Sorry about the mess. Eye protection, hopefully you've already had it when you're making your boards, because they protect your eyes. You only get one set of eyes for your life. Points. People are always a bit baffled at different types. I'll show you the different type and you'll understand hopefully. This set alive is what they call a live frog, because the V from there all the way through to there is all metal, so that makes it live. This one is insulated because that V there is plastic. I don't know if you can see that properly. There we are, that's plastic. When you join the tracks up this side and on there, they are different. With the live frog, you have to have insulated rail joiners, which are like the plastic ones for these two. If you're using insulated frog, you can put metal pins on all of them. It makes no difference because the insulation's there, and that makes them insulated. Personal choice again, if you want to use live frogs. I'm using the majority of live frogs because you get better power to go through. If you're using insulated frogs, you can lose a bit of power on this bit, and it could make the loco stutter a bit. But so I should be using live on mine. Drills, cordless drills. I've picked up this one. The missus dragged me into IKEA to fetch some furniture once. 20 quid, and it does the job. It won't put screws into walls, it's not that powerful, but it does what I want for the layout. My normal cordless, and then my favourite Dremel. Bought it from B&Q when they're having a sale. It is the model 3000, and the reason why I had this one, it had a flexible hose, so hopefully I can get, when they cut the joins in, be better. Well, that's the bits of kit that I've got, and hopefully you'll understand a bit as you go along, and you'll pick it up. As I say, over a period of time, I've picked up a lot of this stuff over years, especially the drills and Dremel and everything else. But as I say, you will need loads of these rail joiners, both insulated and metal ones. Oh, and this is one end of storage yard that is completed and tracks all down. I've just got one more piece to put in here because I've had to alter something round, but as you can see, all the points are in, and that is the curves I wanted to get round, to go round the back and onto the front there. Hence the reason they're set track. Don't be afraid to mix and match. If you're not confident in using them track setters, by all means use set tracks. I have, and nobody will know any different, because from about there, it's gone. There'll be a board like where my finger is. That's all you'll see, and it goes across. Hello there, back again. On this bit, I'm just going to fix these points in. As you can see, everything else is all done. And as what I'm doing now is making a little small bit of track. All I've done is, where I can find me bit of a rubbish, oh, here it is. And all you do is get your Xeon cutters, and if you put this bit up against the sleeper, and you should have a decent cut, but these are a bit old, and that's how it goes, and that's all it is. And this is a proper track cutter. You get them in most model shops, and you just cut the track to suit. All I've done is cut it, took a couple of sleepers off on either end, and filed it so it's all nice and flat. Now that it'll fit in there, as you can see, I think. Let me see if I can zoom in. Sorry about this. It won't fit in straight because the sleepers here are touching that point. So all you do is you just trim it to suit. Note special, just get your knife, just cut a couple of them like that, and there, that fits in there nicely now. Ready for your point to go on there. No problem. Alright, I'll fit this point in. I'll show you how I do it. Now, obviously this is a live frog, which you can tell because of this bit being metal. It's all metal all through here, and this bit. And conventional and all the books tell you have to put insulation there and an insulation there, which is true. And then when you come to make the V live, you have to solder a piece of wire. Can I get this in there? Doing this all upside down. Apologise onto that rail there. I don't know whether you can see it, but you solder it into that V, which is alright if you've got the confidence to solder in there. That way you can see it. I'm trying to. It's soldered onto that V to make that live. What your books probably don't tell you is you don't have to put insulation on there. As long as it's insulated before it reaches there. Now on this bit you'll see that and that are all metal, and this one is a plastic one. And when I put this together, you'll see what I mean. So it's still keeping insulated, that V insulated, but I've just moved it along a bit. Sorry about this. There we are, I finally got it to go in. Right then, as you can see, it is that. It's all one big piece and it's insulated there. As long as it's insulated, you're safe. And the reason you can do that is you can solder a piece of wire on there now. So instead of trying to squeeze it into the V, you can do it on there. It's still insulated, that V is still insulated. So all you've done is moved it along. But it must be done before you get to the next point. Right then, on this one we'll start laying the track. Now I've already prepared these, so these are all going to be laid, and this is the one I've just shown you I'm working on. Because it's the points directly joined to the next point, I've put insulation ones there and there and there and there as per normal, because I haven't got a small piece of track like I've got in there, so they're insulated. Right, and what I do is get a marker pen and just mark round the point in situ. It didn't matter around the back here because nobody's going to see around the back here. And mark that bit out, which I shall show you in a minute the reason why we do it. And the same way, like so. There we are. Put that away before the lid goes. Right then, what I do now is I just put a couple of these pins in. Just push them in for now, because they're not going to be permanently in. Like so. There we are. They won't move now. And then there's what I use these to hold them in. You can pick them up. There we are. They're just pinboard pins, and they come in handy. Now obviously when you start laying your points, you've got to make sure you haven't got your cross members. I know there's a member here, cross member here. So I'm on this one, I'm just on this side of it, and then I'm okay for everything else. Alright. And then what I've done is, let me get me tweezers, I can show you a bit better. He says, trying to pick them up. There we are. And all these pins, all they are is these, but this has all been taken up and broken off, and I'm left with a pin there like that. There we are. And what you do with this is, because you need to find a central positioning for your point, What you got to do and all is choose which side your point motor you want, whether it's this side or that side. I've got a point motor going in there, so on this one I'll have opposite, and all you do is, he says quite easily, looking for something on his toolbox. I can't find it, this one will have to do. Is what you do is, let's do it on this one, that way you can see it better. Is move the point off over. Right, that's what I've done there, is I've moved the point so it's all clear, so it's roughly in the middle. I don't know whether you can see that. Let's get a bit closer for you. Right, and all I've done is put the pot, as I say, move the rails so they're roughly in the middle. And then what I've done is now is get this pin that I've cut down and put it in there. It says, and it don't want to play. Murphy's rules. There we are. Now that will show me where I need to drill the hole for the point motor. And I should do the same on there, here and here. So this might take me a little while, but I shall show you what I'm doing. Hopefully you will see. Adjust the camera again. And let's do these. Right, then now I've found the rest of my pins, I can carry on. As I say, just move the point over halfway using these pins again. And just hold them, all you're doing is just hold them into place for you to put the other pin in. It doesn't really matter too much when you've got clearance on both sides of your points, which side you put the motor, but I don't know whether you can see, but all around here I've got fit, what, 1, 2, 3 point motors in there, and it's no good having them all on the same side because then they'll be all bunched up. I'll give you an idea, if you're using Pico points, Pico motors, sorry, they'll be underneath the board, and that's what you're going to have problems with. So if you've got one there, you'll have that one on there like that because the pin's on the middle, so to go in the hole there, you're going to have that problem. So you just go opposite ends. Gives you a bit more of a clearance and it helps you out a bit. Because don't forget, you're going to have a mass of point motors around this area. But these on the end here, because you've got plenty of space, it doesn't matter which side you go. Eventually I'm going to have another point motor around here somewhere to join in there and have a bit of a spur here to put a couple more sidings on. And I'm obviously going to have to think of that, because that's going to have to go, I don't know whether it can sit in the picture there. That'll go there, and obviously I don't want that point motor fouling this up and this point motor fouling up the edge. So that'll go somewhere around there and it'll join onto that. But for now I'm just working on these four. Get my little handy lid. Same again. Put them in the hole there. Like that. Another one in that one. Don't want to plate. But it will lose, because I shall win. There we are, it's in. Just make sure it's in properly, like that. And then one last one here. There we are, like that. Now that tells me where all the point holes are going. You can, if you've got a small pin, just pour in, make an hole in, or a pencil, but it's cork, so if you put a little pin in, the cork will close up. I'll show you the holes. If you look on all your point motors, T-bars, you got holes here where the rod from your motor goes, and that's where these are. There, and so that's in them holes. You can get that there. You can just about see them holes there, and then pins go in them holes there. And what all I've done is put the blades central like that, and put the pins in. Now all we've got to do now is lift it all out, which is fairly simple, because it just lifts up. Oh, I forgot to take one out. There we are, they're all in. See, now these pins are in, and you can see where they are permanently. Right, I'll get my drill. What I shall do now is round these little pins, just draw a circle. So, there. There, there, and there. And the reason why I do that is because obviously you can't drill with them in space, and I don't know whether you can see that. As you can see there, there's the hole, the drill will go in the middle there and drill that. Alright, let's do that. Unfortunately, my cordless battery's gone flat, so I'm having to use good old electric drill. So there's going to be a bit of noise, I'm afraid. Take the hammer bit off. Don't need that to go through ply. There we are, 4 holes. I would advise, if you're going to go through drill wood, get a proper wood bit. I don't know whether you can see that on the end there. There's a bit of a point just there, and you can put that where the pins were, and you go straight through. That's that done. I've just tidied this up. All I've done there is just hoovered up, get rid of some of these bits. You will find that you might have to tidy everything up, because you don't want bits of wood sticking into point motor and restricting the movement. Just get a knife or something in and just tidy up like so. That's it. There we are, tidied up. You don't have to worry about underneath the boards for now, because you can do them until later. Just get some sandpaper, rub them underneath. Now, what I do now is get me track, just do a rough check to see the holes are all central, which they look as though they are. There's the hole, and it covers the full movement of the blades going across. Happy with that one. Yep, and that one. And that one. Like that. So I'm happy with them, so I shall glue them in a minute. Right, they all fit in nicely, and now I shall glue it. But when I do the points on the scenic side, I do them exactly the same, but with a bit of a difference. As what I would do is, I don't know whether you can, let's zoom into one of them. We'll pick on this hole. As what I'd do is cut a square out, take all this out, like so. That'll be all taken out, and then I cut another piece of square identical to the size with another piece of cork. With another piece of cork, I'm only just showing this temporary. What I do on the front, I've lost my pen, there we are. cut that to the same size as that square would have been. So it's like that virtually. Get my point that's on that bit, and then I mark out the arm. Like so. Oh, sorry, I'm doing this slightly off camera. That better. Mark that out. So I've cut an hole in the cork like that. And all I do is put that back over there, like so. Put the cork on. The big round hole has now disappeared, and it's underneath the cork. Obviously you've cut the square out there, fitted that in, and then you've made a slit there. Just as long as that hole allows movement, you're alright. Like that, yeah? Or you can go down to B&Q's or any DIY and get what they call a saw drill. And all it is a drill about the same width as the bar, and then you just drill a series of holes and then you drag it across like it's a saw. But with this being in the storage area, I don't have to worry about the holes being there because it's not being grouted. Yeah, sorry, not grouted, ballasted. Right, I'll glue these down. All I'll do is just spot it for now. There we are. Put the glue on there like that, and just push it around with your finger. It's only PVA glue, so you just rub, when it goes dry on your fingers, you just rub your fingers together. It comes off. No, not like being a big kid again, getting your hands dirty. Like that. And that's the other reason why you mark the track, is so that you know where to put the adhesive. Alright, just leave that a couple of seconds to a couple of minutes to go off. The reason why I've left gaps like this, there, and there, is so as you don't get glue all around this area. You get glue on there, you might as well just take the point out and restart again, because they've got to keep moving. That's all that'll happen. There's a big gap there, that's for that. Now, I use this glue, It's EvoStix wood adhesive interior. It's not waterproof, so later on, if you find you've put that point in, one of these points in the wrong way, we'll say that one, all you need to do is just soak it with water, leave it for a couple of minutes, and then the water will break the glue down. And then you can just lift it up and it's easily enough. Easier said than done, but because don't forget you got track here, they're fitted into there. You're going to have to wiggle it about a bit and then get it out, but it can be removed. I've seen other people use copy decks. I don't know how you can get re-lift out on that, because that's a rubberized type of glue. I've seen some use another type of PVA glue. As long as it's not waterproof, you should be able to lift it. But with this, I know you can. Right, so what we do now is reinsert the track into the relevant positions. Let's take that off there, see if we can do it without it. That's that one in. This one do it on a plate. Oh, that's better. That's that one in. Oh, yeah. It's just to make sure they're in, just run your fingers across the top of the join. You'll soon know whether they're in or not, because there'll be a step. There'll be a step there and you'll be able to feel it. Oh, gone too far. That's that. There we are. Well, that's all that's down now, and all I need to do now is put some weight on the track to make sure. Best bet to do to make sure you got it all right is just literally look down the track, or get your metal ruler. Well, that looks a lot better, and all I should do now is just leave that to dry. Put that on there, glue tub on that one, do the set, put some weight on, that's all you need to do, and then let it go off. I think what I should do is, because this is taking longer than I thought, I'll do two parts to this on track laying. The next part I should do is the flexi track to join this end of the storage road up to the other end, and then I might do a third one for the scenic side, but for now I should just do this one for the point motors at points at both ends. If you've seen everything you like, please leave a comment, and if you'd like to subscribe, please do so. I shall see you soon then. Bye for now.